That's the sound of the police. Bonk, 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 bonk. I cannot with this man. He is victim blaming. His wife needs to get his ass off his video. He's an idiot. At the Adam McIntyre, for whatever it's worth, no one believes a damn word coming out of Papa Gut's mouth. Your story is valid. What happened to you was grooming. And you have every right to feel and react however you want. Thank you. Never heard a guy contradict himself, mix up stories, and ignore evidence so badly after spending 9 hours researching a topic before. Wow, I'm 15 minutes into this Papa Gut video and I'm wondering, is everyone mad because he said what Colleen did wasn't predatory? Is that the issue? He's grossly downplaying what Colleen did. So far in the video, all he's saying is she isn't P. I haven't watched every video, but I didn't think people thought she was a child P. People have literally argued with me on Twitter that she's a full-blown P. Okay, well, watch his other stuff and come back to me. From what I'm seeing, he hasn't seen everything on this woman, and some of the terms he uses is kind of effed up. Adam's other stuff or Papa Guts? All of it. I've watched the first 20 minutes of his latest video, and he's way off the mark from my understanding of what happened. Here is what I don't understand. If the person who went through it feels they were preyed upon and exploited, then how does he sit back in judgment and say it wasn't? Because he's a mental health expert. Yeah, and I'm a coffee expert. And I'm really bad at explaining things, but I bet I can do a better job than Papa Gut. I think it's time for a Pizzle Pop video. It literally sounds like Papa Gut didn't look over the Colleen situation at effing all, man. This is a situation involving a person who traumatized and a minor. You, as a content creator, have a responsibility to research properly or shut your effing mouth, bro. I am above and beyond angry. Papa Gut cannot be serious in saying that children isn't bad and that victims of are in love with their He is rancid. And this is a screenshot from one of the latest reactions because Ryan Beard reacted and then Papa Gut reacts back. And this one is entitled Ryan Beard Reacts to My Take on the Colleen Ballinger Situation. I'd rather have some of the transcript uh, displayed here as opposed to using some of the clips, although you're free to watch the video. This is a little bit, I'm a little disappointed. I'm a little disappointed in the title and I'm a little disappointed in the video, mostly because I have 3 videos on this topic. They go in a specific order. The first videos, I was just reacting to a marquee video until, their video was like, I think, like 8 minutes right. For context, he is referring to Marky, the other YouTuber who also made a video about the Colin Ballinger situation. Just kind of people would ask me to watch if I'm okay. No, I had no education on this topic. Kind of popped in, looked at that. People gave me criticism in the comments, so I even pinned it. If I said, I see some people, I see some of the feedback saying I'm missing a lot of context, so I'm going to do a deep dive, and that's what I did. I did my best to be very thoughtful. I really did. I really did. The biggest regret here was the lack of understanding of how much this hurt Adam, which wasn't communicating. This video is not Marky's fault. It was my fault for not doing a deep dive. But the point is, it's like, this was like a slight little, like, 8 minutes, I think. And so going to this, I saw a lot of, like, raw, pain and frustration, and I understand that, and I can respect that, and I can respect the vulnerability, and that's what this video is now. I understand it's 6 hours long, and it seems like Ryan didn't go through that video, and I know 6 hours you might as well watch 3 Marvel movies, of course. Then going to the comment section, Talking about the growing mental health trend in our society is a valid point to bring up, but at the time, saying there's no trauma and similar things is a completely biased statement. You're assigning an intent to an individual based on your view of a much larger group. There's nothing wrong with saying your opinion, but you gotta watch what is being established as concrete fact. You'll only end up drawing conclusions that might end up totally baseless. My main question for you is, how do you know Colleen's intentions? You keep saying there wasn't an intent to harm, manipulate, or children. But how do you know that? She was over 30 years old talking about her life, asking inappropriate questions, making innuendos, and put children in compromising positions. They were 11 to 18 years old, and although you want to diminish her as being a micro celebrity, she has millions of fans, tours the country, and is well known in this space. How do you know her intent? That she didn't actually have ideas and intention. What is the justification for the breadth of her conversations with minors? You said you wouldn't behave differently if this were a man, but I find it so hard to believe because you're removing her intent, because it's unbelievable to you that a woman would see kids that way. Edit. Also implore you to actually look up the girl whose legs were spread on stage and watch her videos on how unsafe she felt after that due to the men there staring at her. Based on your no kid was in danger because of Colleen opinion. When legal documents are one day released, I genuinely hope you have a better understanding of G in all of its forms and the lifelong consequences it brings to the victim. This is probably the worst take on this controversy I have seen. It actually makes me question your personal life. Anyone that defends Colleen's actions must not be in the right mind or a sicko themselves. A 30-year-old does not need to be interacting with minors in the way she did. It's common sense. Yes, some people defend her because they hope the proof is fake. They hope that she didn't really do those things, but believing she actually wrote and sent all that stuff and still defend it? 100% agree. It's scary people are defending her at all when she was literally 33, a grown woman talking to 13 to 17-year-old children. It's bizarre. You shouldn't build personal relationships with your fans that crosses boundaries, and there's automatically a power dynamic that way, not only because it's a creator talking to a fan, but because it's also a grown adult talking to a minor. Disgusting. Yeah, super sus. Why does he feel the need to talk about how some grooming is good? And then forward, much later in this video, yes, in video, he said, when it comes to other people, when it comes to like other like mainstream celebrities, they get picked up and they end up getting to an extent by managers who will help them through through every single aspect of every single thing, right? And so you don't need a social. Telling people they're wrong about their own trauma is a terrible look and speaks to something you need to address within yourself. Maybe instead of posting your hot take about other people's experiences you know nothing about and saying they need therapy, you, sir, should be this one saying this to a therapist. But here you are airing your toxic ideas and re-traumatizing victims as they watch you, gaslighting them online to thousands for hours on end. All the while blaming literally everyone else, except somehow the abuser in the situation. Wonder what your therapist would think about that. You preface this with saying, I know I'm a cis white heterosexual male and maybe I'm not as emotionally connected to some stuff, but I'm just trying to be unbiased. But then go on to literally say, I have some personal things when it comes to very loaded topics like this and they get to me. And proportionality of this situation is something that means a lot to me. How can you try to feign being unbiased? You have no connection to this situation and no reason to try to speak about this from a place of authority. Yet here you are. Hope you get help. G is when the builds trust and an emotional connection to the targeted victim in order to manipulate and them. That is what Colleen did to Adam and many other of her fans. Don't tell us it isn't, and that while you don't think he's lying, things aren't accurate. That's contradicting. Don't downplay and make excuses for a grown ass woman who should know better. There is no excuse for her. Also, don't use what your wife does as education credit, especially when you're very incorrect with the info you're giving. Just because she's a social worker does not mean you know what she knows, nor does it mean she knows certain things. I'm sure your wife is great at her job, but it isn't uncommon for people to work in a specific field to fail to grasp many elements and info about their jobs. Just because someone is a therapist doesn't mean they're good at it. Now, to tell a person, oh, you have trauma, just go see a therapist and handle it privately, is completely effed up. In situations like these, people need to speak up and call out these toxic and dangerous people who are a potential threat to minors. Colleen was a grown adult when this happened. She shouldn't have needed someone telling her, oh, maybe this isn't the best idea. She was old enough to just know such behavior was wrong. If you're that old and can't understand simple common sense, you need to get off the internet and get serious help because you're messed up in the head. I'm sorry, but you're being unbiased as BS. You are completely defending a P, which I'm sure your wife wouldn't approve of. Just saying. A grown-ass woman shouldn't be bringing up children on her stage and having them reach their hands down her pants or for her to hover over them as they lay down on their back as she spreads their legs. Like, yes, parents are slightly to blame for not standing up and protecting their kids. However, this is a grown-ass woman who manipulated her fans and humiliated so many, all for fame. She is a monster, and her and every other sick, twisted predator need to be behind bars. I don't care what you think, it's just a joke. You can claim everything to be a joke, but many things shouldn't be a joke. There's a time, a place, and a group for jokes. To joke like that with people as young as 13 or maybe younger is unacceptable. You may just blow this off as me being too emotional with this topic, but no, I'm being bluntly honest, and unlike you, I'm using common sense and morals. To say gaming itself isn't that bad is a very stupid thing to say and makes you sound like a terrible person. Anyone who uses people through manipulation is messed up. Parents guiding their kids or teachers or trusted adults helping kids is not the same as an adult using manipulation to get a child to do what they want for evil intentions. Clearly, you don't know what you're talking about. You make yourself sound wise, but this is nothing but nonsense and complete contradictory. I'm sorry, but this is most definitely is G. Adam was a child who looked up to Colleen and she her power by building a relationship with Adam in DMs for years. She invited him to shows and offered to give him personal benefits like flying him out or ordering stage time. Even offered to meet up with him and spend the day with him before going on stage. All of this lead him to believe they were friends, all while manipulating him and using him to help her career. Miranda sings content. And confiding in him with her personal life. Problems like her divorce. That literally is all under the umbrella of G. You clearly haven't done your research and looked into this properly. Adam has provided with so much proof as well as other members of Colleen's group chat have spoken up too. This is coming from an ex-Colleen fan of 10 years, by the way, who's been to her shows and had her merchandise, etc. And it's taken me a lot for me to turn and speak up against her, but I can't turn a blind eye to it anymore. And as much as it's upset and disappointed me in her as a fan once, what she did was wrong and needs to be called out. It's completely changed how I feel towards her with how much evidence that's been provided. Why do you think she's been silent since this all came about 2 weeks ago? it's showing guilty, and she suddenly stopped everything considering she vlogged every day right up till all this came out and had 2 podcasts updated weekly. Not to mention people who have been to a Miranda show have also come forward. Johnny worked for Colleen and he even made a video about how he got treated badly. Kendall Ray has spoken about it too. I could go on and on with how many people have spoken up with receipts and video evidence. Just look on TikTok with the search of Colleen Ballinger. There's so much evidence here, it's unreal with still more to come. So how can you even try to justify it? So it just makes you look dumb with this video about it. Why make a video about it when you clearly haven't looked into this properly? None of what you're saying makes sense. Maybe you think manipulation is overt and loud like in a movie? Like outright lying? Which she did. If Adam knew her for several years, I think he knows how she is, how she behaves, and how her covert language is manipulation. Why not go through with their plans to meet? It shows it was a quick decision to talk for 5 minutes and for her to leave to her hotel 5 minutes away. I cannot see that in that small aspect, nor the gross language and behavior she exhibited is not disgusting. No matter if it was emotional, well, or psychological manipulation, it's bad. I'm sorry, but you should not be on her side. She doesn't need the benefit of the doubt. Grace, nothing. As a content creator, I would generally expect maybe do a little more due diligence. The level of hypocrisy here. I can't believe you doubled down after everything. Did you even read your comments on your previous videos? Multiple people tried to provide you with more context about the situation and why your take was very problematic, and yet here you are, completely doubling down and getting hung up on the G and the P label. Incredibly disappointing that I wasted an hour and a half thinking you would learn something. Your video was condescending towards Adam, invalidating of his experiences and trauma, and just so bad on so many levels. And to message Adam and tell him I have a different opinion. Want to come to discuss it? Laughing my ass off. Yeah, I'm sure he'd love to come discuss his trauma with someone who's going to tell him, I know you lived through this and I've provided tons of evidence to back up every single thing you've said, but you're wrong and I'm right. And you claim to be such an advocate for victims?